Hey guys, it's Jeannie here. I want to go ahead and do this quick video. We're going to go ahead and start with chapter 3 of Reaching to Heaven. And chapter 3 is Getting to Know You. I went ahead and uploaded some other videos, so go ahead and check those out. I know it was this book right here. And I also did another video showing you all the new books that I just recently got. So hopefully you guys can check out those videos. Okay. Let's start. Yet the timeless in you is aware of life's timelessness and knows that yesterday is but today's memory and tomorrow is today's dream, and that which sings and contemplates in you is still, dwelling within the bounds of that first moment which scattered the stars into space. Okay, so let's go ahead and start. What do we really know about ourselves? Our physical bodies, of course, are easily perceived, and we are very familiar with the domain of mind and thought that we explored in the last chapter. Beyond these realms lies an aspect of our being that is more mysterious, our spiritual nature. For this leg of our journey, it is important to keep the door open to all our senses, including our intuition or inner compass. To begin, I want to introduce you to some of the language of a land of the spirit, the various bodies of man that make you a unique individual. These bodies are invincible, layers of the soul spectrum, and are encompassed in the aura. The aura can be thought of as a blueprint of our spiritual, emotional, mental, and physical energies and experiences. It is perhaps the closest externalization of the soul that one can observe. The aura. When I was a small child, perhaps 6 or 7, I remember telling my mother that I saw lights around people. My mother just smiled at me and went on her merry way because I didn't know what these lights were. Sorry, guys. What these lights were. I thought everyone could see them. They came in a variety of colors: blues, pinks, greens, yellows, and reds, etc. I remember that I loved to shop with my mother in one particular grocery store because the man behind the counter always had such a pretty colored lights around him. I would stand and watch the lovely rainbow of blues mixed with purples and pinks that surrounded him. I recall that he had a great big smile and was constantly telling jokes to his customers. I guess this man with the lights stuck in my mind because he always handed me a lollipop before we left the store. I had similar experiences when relatives or family friends came to our home for a visit. I would watch the color and lights around everyone and say something like, "That man is green," or "That lady has a lot of brown lights around her." No one paid much attention to the comments of a little boy other than to say, "You're so cute," or "Isn't that sweet?" I also noticed that the lady with the brown lights didn't smile very much either. Later, my mother would confide in me and say, "The lady with the brown lights is very sick." Most of the people, however, were affectionate and loving. They were the ones who hugged and kissed me a lot. I would especially see bright pink lights around them. As I became older, my ability to see lights around people slowly vanished and occurred only occasionally. But there was one time particularly that I will never forget. I was about 8 years old, and some friends and I decided to go to the local delicatessen to buy lunch. After we paid for our heroes, we hurried out the store. Sorry, guys. I didn't sleep very well last night, so that's why I'm yawning. I was the last to leave, and as I walked out the door, a tall man, not realizing I was there, knocked into me. I looked up, and he stared down at me. His eyes penetrated me like laser beams through a brick wall. Suddenly, I became aware of a misty black and gray cloud around the top of his head and in the front of his chest. 3 days later, I saw the same man again, this time in the newspaper. The police had arrested him for robbing the the delicatessen. That bit of news gave me a good scare. However, I still didn't understand what those lights meant until much later. The aura is composed of layers of energy. When I was a young boy, I would pray for snow every night during the winter because it usually meant a day of play. Every morning when I awakened, I would run to the window to see if my prayers had been answered. When they were, I hardly could wait to go outside. But first, my mother would begin to long and artist's process of bundling me in layers of clothing. First, I put on my t shirt, then a long sleeve shirt, and then a bulky sweater, and finally my overcoat. The layers of clothing served a purpose in protecting me from the cold. So, too, the layers of the aura serve a purpose by recording all our experiences, feelings, thoughts, and desires. The idea of the aura, or vital energy, emanating from and surrounding the body is not new. One of the very first um, Westerners to observe and write about it was a 16th century alchemist and healer known as Para, Paracelsus, Celsus, something like that. We referred to our energy field as a fiery globe. In the 18th century, the Austrian physician Franz Anton Mesmer defined animal magnetism as electromagnetic energy that surrounded the human body. He believed this electromagnetic energy had an amazing effect on physical health and that it could be transmitted from one person to another. In this century, London physician Dr. Walter J. Kilner invented a machine made of dicynnin, a coal tar dye that was used to observe ultraviolet light. With his machine, Kilner noticed a light around the human body. Eventually, he believed that one could diagnose a person's physical maladies by studying the light. In 1911, Dr. Kilner's research was published in a book entitled The Human Aura. In 1939, a Russian electrician, Sinyan David Savok Kurlian, introduced a photographic process by which unexposed film was used to photograph a particular object. When the film was developed, various kinds of halos appeared around the object. This procedure, known as Kirlian photography, is still used today, but it is most linked to psychic phenomenon, as scientists have not yet figured out how or why these halos or auras appear. There is one important thing to remember with the photographic process. Since the aura constantly changes depending upon a person's emotional, mental, physical, and spiritual state, a photograph can capture only the aura of the particular time it is taken. My own ability to perceive auras remained dormant until I reached my early 20s. It was at that time in my life that I began to meditate and develop an inner awareness as well as a rapport with the feelings and sensations of others. After years of discipline, my ability to perceive auras grew tremendously. Today, this ability continues to play a large part in the work that I do. When I do demonstrations, I usually see a vast array of colors and lights. The color and intensity of the lights are different with each individual and vary with different parts of the body. If I notice a bright red light around someone's left shoulder and neck area, I know that this person suffers from headache or neck problems. If I see accumulation of a dark and dense gray or brown color near a person's stomach, I usually ask if there is trouble in this area, and usually the person will reply yes. Throughout my years of study and observation, I have learned that the aura is very accurate projection or mirror of various conditions of a person's health. But your aura reflects much more than your physical state. In fact, it consists of various levels of consciousness that make up your beingness. It is a representation of your innate character, an indication of your potential, as well as a record of your experiences. By the time you reach adulthood, your aura has gone through years of emotional, mental, spiritual, and physical experiences. Your abilities, desires, likes, dislikes, feelings of success, feelings of failures, as well as extraordinary happenings, upsetting or sad times have all shaped your aura. The size and shape of the aura depends on a variety of other factors as well. Usually, the aura is oval in shape and extends beyond the physical body approximately 12 to 18 inches. If someone is outgoing and expansive in nature, her aura will tend to be larger in size. For instance, when a person speaks to a large group and tries to reach them or bring them into their consciousness, the aura of the speaker expands to encompass her audience. That is what happens with politicians, preachers, musicians, actors, and orators who have to connect with their audiences. The opposite effect occurs if a person is introverted or shy. The aura does not expand, rather, it remains close to the physical body. Our aura also expands and grows when we are in an environment that pleases us. Moreover, I have seen a person's aura right before death, and it tends to be quite faint, like a line drawn around the body. This makes sense because the time of physical death, the aura withdraws. Okay, and the next part is colors. When I see auras, I often see colors. One of the clearest and most common colors I see around people is green. Many times at demonstrations, I have asked a person whose aura is filled with green, are you a medical worker or healer? The reply is usually yes. Most people who work in the healing arts have bright green healing auras. Remember too, a healer is not only a doctor or nurse, but can be an individual like yourself who has an empathetic and receptive nature to anyone in need of help. The colors of the auras vary with each individual. The brightness, hue, and tone of colors can range far beyond what we see in the physical world. The strength of the color is directly associated with the strength of the emotion behind it. Colors often vary on a daily basis. The following are some of the main characteristics of the aura's colors. Red, energy, life. The color red means energy, life force, and strength. Physicality, anger, hyperactive, deep rage, sexual. Orange, self-esteem, pride and thoughtfulness, ambition, self-control. Yellow, intellectual, mindful, optimistic, and happy, decisiveness. Green, compassion, healing, peaceful, prosperity, and sympathy. Blue, spiritual devotion, loyalty, philosophical thoughts, and creativity. Violet, love, highly spiritual intuition and wisdom. Indigo, spiritual aspirant, benevolence, high intuitive. Pink, unconditional love, friendship, and sincerity. Gray, depression, sadness, fear, and tiredness. Brown, greediness, self involvement, opinionated, grounded. Black, lacking vital energy, lower influences, and ignorance. Past lives and memories. While observing an aura, I also find that it tends to be composed of tiny geometric designs and patterns. These patterns can be interpreted as thought forms and are reflective of an individual's thought, either current or from the past. In other words, a person's past emotional scars will be reflected in the designs of his aura, along with desires not yet realized or desires from the past. Through the years, I have observed that these desires appear in the top right part of the aura. The area is linked to the mental part of an individual and is where desires and goals are stored. Furthermore, the aura embodies the accumulation of karma from previous incarnations and the karmic lessons that will endeavor to master during the current lifetime. All these things make up a person's true essence. In my first book, I discussed the idea of karma in detail. For the purpose of clarification here, suffice it to say that karma is the concept of cause and effect. On one of my spiritual odysseys, I saw clearly how past lives are reflected in the aura, and I got a karmic lesson of my own. Dr. Brian Weiss, author of Many Lives, Many Masters, and I once held a workshop for about 300 people aboard a cruise to Mexico. Dr. Weiss is a distinguished psychiatrist who has assisted many people through his work in past life regression. After finishing my demonstration one morning, I attended his workshop. Though I had no intention of participating in the group, not wanting to disturb anyone, I just sneaked into the back of the room and sat down to watch. Dr. Weiss began a demonstration of hypnosis and past life regression. Through various exercises, people went back to certain past life experiences. To my surprise, I too experienced several incredible past life experiences. In one particular regression, I saw myself as a general in several wars. I observed myself standing among my soldiers, and as the war changed, so did our uniforms. From the regression, I saw that I was responsible for ordering my soldiers to kill other soldiers. I was in charge. I had to make the ultimate decision that caused thousands of men to die in battle. In one particular regression, I saw myself as a general in several years. I observed myself standing among my soldiers, and as the wars changed, so did our uniforms. From the regression, I saw that I was responsible for ordering my soldiers to kill other soldiers. I was in charge. I had to make the ultimate decision that caused thousands of men to die in battle. As the scenes unraveled in my mind, I instinctively knew why I was here this lifetime. I had to alleviate the karma from those past lives when I ordered the mass destruction of all those men. As a healer in this life, I am balancing out life's karma, repaying my karmic debt, and helping people to recapture their spirituality. I am here to right a wrong, so to speak, as well as regain my karmic balance, heal my soul, and move along my spiritual path. After the exercise, Dr. Weiss asked people to stand and share their experiences with the group. As individuals spoke about their past life, I began to see a sort of tapestry of colors and patterns above their heads and to their sides. As I looked closer, I noticed that each square in their auras had movement within it. Each square represented a past life. If that wasn't enough, I also observed that a cord emanated from each square, and the cord attached itself to certain parts of the person's anatomy, to a leg, to a heart, or head. Later, I asked several of the participants if they had physical trouble in the various areas in which I saw the cords attached. The majority of them said yes. The rest were unsure or could not remember. Some thought about it and remembered that they had a problem in that area earlier in their life. It was extremely clear to me that our past life experiences and perhaps even our future lives are entirely present in the aura. Environmental influences. The aura may also reflect outside forces, positive and negative, that reflect us. Practically everyone has had the experience of meeting someone and feeling either an immediate rapport or a terrible aversion. Why is this? In most cases, we have tuned into a person's energy field and received some kind of energy emanations. The result is that we are either in harmony or disharmony, and all the feelings in between with these emanations. Being in a church or place of worship usually fills us with feelings of peace and comfort. We seem to have a sense of harmony and oneness from the place. That's because we are probably registering and loving spiritual feelings from the people who have worshipped there. Conversely, you can walk into a room or a house and instantly experience an unpleasant feeling for no apparent reason. only to find out that there was a fight or argument prior to your arrival. Again, something happened and your aura picked up the energy that remained in the room. The mental atmosphere that surrounds us is impressed not only with the thoughts and feelings we create, but the thoughts and feelings of those around us. Hold on, guys. Let me see how long this chapter is, because it seems like it is going to be pretty long. And I'm not sure if I'm going to have to cut this or what, because we're already at 20 minutes. So, let me go ahead and read this last page right here, and then I'll go ahead and do a part 2 because it is going to be pretty long. So, just so you guys know. Excuse me. Okay, let me just finish this last part, and then we'll go ahead and stop it and start another part. This idea is very important. Every day we pass through a multitude of invisible yet powerful thoughts that have definite effect on the physical state of our bodies. Thoughts always reflect the nature of the person who gave them life. Therefore, pay attention to the people with whom you most often associate. We are the company we keep. Many times, someone's personality is so overwhelming that depending on our own emotional, mental, physical, or spiritual levels, especially if one or more are weak, the other person's energy will enter our electromagnetic space. Fortunately, we are all born with a sort of defense mechanism within the auric field to keep out other people's energy patterns and thoughts. In the final section of this book, I describe how you can protect yourself from someone else's wandering thoughts and emotions. It is also very important to realize that the living do not manipulate our atmosphere. Discarnate beings or spirits also impress us and leave their thoughts within our aura. This is why so many times during the day, suddenly and for no reason, you start thinking of a loved one who has passed over. It is more than likely that the loved one is attempting to influence or impress her personality and thoughts into your electromagnetic field. Okay, guys, so the next part will be the bodies of man and the etheric body. So I'm going to go ahead and stop it right here. I'm going to do another part because it's going to go a little bit longer than planned. We're already at 22 minutes. So yeah. Just go ahead and stay tuned for the next video. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this chapter because I am. And yeah, just go ahead and check out the next video.